Agrippa begins extracting the arrow from Yoren's chest, while the king's guard rush around the hall ensuring no other assassins are present. In a single stroke, Yoren has gone from being a man that the king just barely tolerates to the king's savior and hero of the realm. Edric sits up and listens when Alexander resumes explaining what they know about Torbjornsson and the other white bearskin bearsarks. Edric and Marshall accept that Torbjornsson is not dead. But that still leads to the question, where is he? Perhaps it's for the best that the Serpentes are on the way, since Cadia's military has been devastated by the war thus far, to say nothing of the myriad southern keeps that are likely still held by Svards. They need more information. Sadly, both assassins have been slain, so their origins cannot be traced, but they appear to be Middish. While examining the dead, they notice that the assassins each carried small, well-crafted bows, with a pronounced deflex. Since this game lacks much in the way of magic items, we tend to exaggerate the qualities of mundane items to make them into unique gear. Steel is near mystical. Reflex bows have a significant penetration boost, at the cost of requiring specialized shooting especially loud, and coming unstrung easily enough that you can't do things like string the bow, toss it over your shoulder, and climb around doing acrobatics. These Deflex bows are similarly exaggerated. Lower power, but well made and precise, with a very quiet release. A great bow for an assassin. Stats-wise, the bow has crap damage and mediocre penetration, but allows dex mod times 1.5 to penetration, due to its accuracy. But the crowning jewel of an ability, the reason Yoren and Felix immediately scoop up these two Deflex bows and plan to make more, is that they allow stealth kills within about 30 paces. Remember, HP is not everything. If something would kill you, you're dead. When sneaking up on someone, I typically allow one or more opposed stealth rolls to potentially result in a stealth kill, bypassing HP and instantly killing them, a reason Steelshod aggressively posts sentries. Due to its quiet shooting and high accuracy, the Deflex bows allow the same stealth kill mechanic at range. Bow experts, feel free to tell us why this is stupid and misconceived. I'm aware it's stretching things, but I wanted an excuse for a stealth bow. So, they now know that Torbjornsson is alive and well. Somewhere. And he has a much larger army than expected. Somewhere. Steelshod is trying to figure out what their next move is. Yoren is temporarily bedridden, though we know that won't last long regardless of how bad his injuries are. Hubert doses him with a well-crafted essence of grace. The Serpentes are fast approaching. Word is they have already entered the eastern reaches of Cadia, but now the Marshal's scouts reveal another army in southern Cadia. Could this be it? Torbjornsson's true force? Nope. The army flies the flag of Lorraine. Ironclad Lorrainette Chevaliers. A host of conscripts and men-at-arms, crossbowmen, a substantial army, much larger than what the Cadians have left. Scouts say that the army has clearly been in southern Cadia for some time, sweeping through and liberating the Cadian keeps from the remnants of the Svardic forces. They fly the banner of the Dauphin, Lorraine's royal house, but the scouts suggest it is King Philippe's uncle, Duc Baudouin le Dauphin, that is behind the invasion. Because, of course, this is an invasion. The Lorinettes and the Cadians have a long and bloody history of territorial wars, followed by long periods of peaceful commerce. So, it's not terribly surprising that they would see Cadia's weakness now as an opportunity. Alexander learns of this news in the Marshal's presence, and Lord Marshal's fury is palpable. Words like treacherous dog are muttered. Duke Baudouin is fairly known for his ruthless machinations and penchant for backstabbing. From Léon de Pont and Pierre Lenoir, however, Steelshod learns a great deal more about this new threat. Baudouin is the kind of man that would be ostracized from Cadian society, but is just barely tolerated in the more libertine island of Lorraine. An inveterate bachelor, he's known for taking lovers from all walks of life, perhaps best known for the harem of diplomats, courtesans, and assassins that he keeps. Les petites monstres, the little monsters. All beautiful young women, and all Baudouin's bastard daughters by various women. It's something of an open secret that he grooms them to serve him in every conceivable capacity. Yes, even that one. Sleeping with whoever he dictates, discreetly disposing of whoever he tells them to. A handful of them have reached significant levels of infamy, such as Marie La Rose or Sophie de la Aiguille. But most go unnoticed throughout the Lorrainette high society, enacting their father's will. If Baudouin is in command of the invasion, then there is little doubt in the marshal's mind that Lorraine means to swallow up as much of Cadia as they can, and do whatever it takes to hold it. In fact, it's entirely possible that the assassins weren't sent by Ter Bjornsson at all. This is grave news indeed. Alexander feels for the Marshal and the King, but his mind is still focused on the Sfards. A conflict with Lorraine, he suspects, will be fundamentally about territory. Bloody, perhaps, but somehow he doubts that it will involve the sort of atrocities Ter Bjornsson and Hakon have perpetuated. The trio recall the oddities they saw in Lorraine some months ago, before they joined Steelshod. Sephardic priests in the streets. They make sure Alexander knows that this new invasion may still yet be another machination of the Sfards, of Hakon and the Vlari priests, specifically. Speaking of Hakon, Alexander and Joran realize there's one person they have access to that might know where Ter Bjornsson and the rest of his army have gone. Joran gets out of bed and joins Hubert and Alexander in paying the Vlari high priest a visit. Hakon is seated at a table, arms bound behind him, ungagged and unblindfolded. He eyes them scornfully. Hubert positions himself at the edge of Hakon's periphery. Alexander stands across from him.
Lord Marshal faced down Ter Bjornsson and killed him,
Alexander says in his thick Ruskan accent. Hakon's lips curl into a faint sneering smile.
And yet, you and I both know it was not Ter Bjornsson.
Hakon hesitates, then nods.
It was another bearsark in a white bearskin, Kolbjörn, the Stonebreaker.
Hakon seems a little surprised to hear Alexander utter the name, but he stifles the expression.
An army was routed with him, the same army that plagued southern Cadia. And yet you and I both know that this is not Ter Bjornsson's full strength.
Hakon nods again, warily. He says, "If you already know." Alexander draws his sword, and Hakon's words trail off. Alexander lays the naked blade on the table between them. Gleaming steel etched with matte black runes.
So, he says quietly, you say you do not fear pain or torture, but you have also told us that you must not die, that you have unfinished work to save the world.
Hakon just glares.
So I will put this to you simply.
Alexander continues.
If you tell us where Ter Bjornsson has gone, and make us believe it, we will put you back in your cell. Perhaps the Cadians will execute you soon, perhaps not. But if you refuse, I will kill you here and now. Your work will go unfinished, and Joran and I will spend the rest of our lives hunting down all of your brothers, all Vlari priests, and ensuring none of them can continue whatever it is you have started.
Hakon glares at Alexander with a look of pure hatred. Alexander sighs, reaches out, and wraps his hands around the grip of his family sword.
He is gone, Hakon says.
Gone where?
Asks Yoren. Gone from Cadia, Hakon says.
Hakon's sneers and contemptuous looks intensify.
Did you think our ultimate goal was this pathetic little kingdom? He says. We broke this land with our rabble, with the degenerates, the outlaws, those that followed Ter Bjornsson for a chance at redemption and a place beneath the waves in Vlarhala. The Harbinger was the final death blow, destroying even your capital. Now the crows come to feast on the scraps.
Alexander tightens his grip on the sword, lifts it from the table.
You have not answered my question, Hakon, he says. Last chance.
He's gone to tear out your heart, Hakon says, growing passionate. To take his vengeance, our vengeance. To rip out the heart of these soft Midlands and eat it, bloody and raw. To shatter those that would call themselves masters of this world and claim that titles for Svarden. Hakon's grin is a feral thing, hungry and violent. And the fools have left the way open for him, he continues. They heard true warriors had come to the Midlands, and they rushed out with all their strength to meet us. But Ter Bjornsson and his ships are long since gone. Winter will be upon the land soon. Your armies will be halted by snow, and by the time any of you can reach him, it will be too late. With that, Hakon settles back in his seat, a smug look on his face. The others are silent as realization dawns on them.
Tarathia, Yoren says.
He's going to attack Tarathia. Thank you for tuning in to Steelshod, a series by Mostly Rights, narrated by Tailforge. You can find every chapter in text format, as well as character sheets, setting information, maps, and rule documents on the Steelshod tabletop system in the link below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can pop down to the description and use the Patreon link for recurring donations, the PayPal.me link for one-time donations, the Teespring link for shirts with the incredibly cool background art by Nobody, or use the DriveThruRPG affiliate link the next time you're looking to try a new system. If you'd like to support the author, you can find Steelshod merch on the MostlyRights.com store, or donate to the Mostly Rights Patreon, which are both linked on reddit.com/r/mostlyrights down below.